in today's story, I'm going to be showing you guys all of my private victories. This is the story of how I went from a broke 16-year-old high school dropout all the way to making my first million while I was still in my teens with social media marketing. I wanted to leave it very raw and uncut so you can see.
Tuesday will be my last day at school, which is super cool. I've gone to a point where I have a strong enough hold on the next branch that I can let go of the last one. So that's why I accepted the client today, because I've had a bunch of clients come to me asking me to do their marketing and their branding, but I just haven't had time in terms of school. So now that I can let go of that, I can travel more, I can take on more clients. But that brings me to one thought, and that is, you get what you think you deserve, not what you deserve. I think you need to believe that you deserve it before it ever happens. Whether that be financially, whether that be with that girl you like, whether that be with that social circle or that social life that you may not think you deserve yet. Once you have that mentality and you enforce that through affirmations, incantations, just reprogramming your mind to realize that you deserve the best, and then you put in the work accordingly. Right after the bank, I have a client meeting. We've had a verbal agreement that he's gonna come on. You end up feeling quite lonely from that, and it's something I had to deal with for quite a while. But look, that's fine. Honestly, I would rather be alone with my own thoughts than with people who are negative, berate what I'm trying to do in my life, because at the end of the day, those people are just scared that you're gonna rise up and find no use from them anymore. Don't get angry at people when they throw negativity, throw hate your way, because at the end of the day, they're just scared that you're gonna develop so much that you find no use from them anymore. I've seen that time and time again in my life. And so guys, there's this little company, you might have heard of them, they're called Bang & Olufsen. I'm so excited. They just actually opened a store in Amsterdam. It's pretty new from what I understand, and that's like pretty much the main reason why I'm going to Holland in like a month. I'm shooting a video for, you know, and I just remember just instances where I felt so helpless, because I'm like, you know, if I don't take care of my family, even though it's just me and my mom, no one is. You know, and to this day, that's the case. And entrepreneurship was my way out. You know, entrepreneurship was my way out. Business was my way out. You know, and I remember even things like meditating. I started meditating 3 years ago. I started reading a book a week, which I actually recently stopped. But I read a book a week, almost like 90% track record for whatever, like 3 years or so.
It's a casual one. It's very casual. That's
it's. I think it might be a little bit too casual.
Between 1,000 and around 3,000.
So usually, it's average.
3,500 is so far the most common ticket, but the 990 is also.
Okay, there we go. So we got a little bit of data. This huge agency is just like listening to you, and then yeah, as I said. Next thing I realized is I underpriced, and I knew that immediately when I sent out the proposal, and like straight away he's like, "You hit the nail on the head. We'd love to have you over for $6,000." So you know, I'm pretty sure I could have charged probably anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 for this. So hey ho, I had a great time. I learned so much. And by the way, guys, when I say these numbers, my first exactly a year ago. They don't think about that. They're just like, okay, fuck it. Like, I'll just be better than everyone else. And there is a differentiating factor between me and the rest of the competition, so I will win. And it's the exact same thing with an agency. And I can tell you honestly, I have clients come to me and they tell me stories of agencies they've worked with and the way they've operated and sort of the key, you know, the key KPIs that they like bring forward to them. They're like, oh, you know, we got a cost per click at this price, which is just ludicrous because I have e-commerce and info product clients. So
the key metric shouldn't be a cost, you know, the cost per click. It should be like the cost per conversion or the total return on ad spend. I was gonna say it's really not that hard, you know. Starting a business is always gonna be hard, but it's not groundbreaking stuff. If you can just learn those things and you can have a better service than the agency next to you, you're gonna win. And I also know what it's like to you know, have an agency that's just barely doing 6 figures or doing nothing, you know. And in all my time in my agency space, you know, initially starting off with a creative agency, then, you know, having a hybrid agency, now doing just paid traffic, you know, having no niche before, then finding my niche, then refining it, then refining systems and processes. I've really started to figure out, you know, what does a 6-figure agency look like and what sort of operations and service do you need? Once you hit that 7-figure year mark, you're really gonna need to specialize in on one service offering. You need to specialize in whether that be, you know, lead generation with Facebook, lead generation with AdWords, whether that be just funnel creation, whether that be like your agency literally just builds and tweaks webinar funnels, whether that is your agency just builds out like real estate lead funnels for people, and you're really just gonna need to focus in on one niche, you know? I am actually about to go pick up a new 40,000 pound watch. It's a Patek Philippe Aquanaut, the rose gold.
Any paid program or anything like that. So watch that 2 hours. If, you know, by the end of it, you're like, oh, this makes sense. And you know, I can understand the business model, and I love a community and mentoring and really someone to hold my hand through the entire process. Then stick around and find out a little bit more about Agency Incubator. If you watch that 2 hour thing and you're like, you know what, this isn't for me, then you can just click away, and hopefully I've given you a good, fair warning. The other link I want you to check out is Agency Incubator itself. Now, go on the sales page and you can find out everything you need to know about the program. And in fact, I even do a 15-minute demo right on there. Because here's the thing, when you know that you have the best product in the market and all your testimonials prove that, then you want to show off your product. And I'm very, very, very proud of Agency Incubator. So on the sales page, go ahead and watch that demo. I show you every single module in the program. I show you all the plug and plays. I show you the community. I show you the trackers, the calculators, the website template, literally the one-click funnels, the onboarding funnel, everything that I use to run my agency day to day, I give to you guys entirely. And as I said, I show it off in the demo because when you know that your offering is the best thing that's out there on the market, you have no qualms whatsoever about showing it off, to be honest. So, ladies and gents, I know this has been a long video. Appreciate every single one of you guys that stuck around. Down below, you also find the winner for the Gadzhi giveaway. As always, you guys know what to do to be in with winning an article in the next video. Just go ahead and comment within the first 2 hours and you'll be automatic.